Hey, it's Lynn, and yesterday I showed you an article about this economy problem in the fishing industry, which they feel is a result of Fukushima poisoning due to the acidity in the water, and how a lot of the fish they're catching are either diseased or dead. And the numbers, between the difference with what they're normally bringing up were astounding. Okay, so that was one thing. Now, I just literally came in from a bike ride, and so I was checking the news, and I noticed Natural News came out with an article about this extreme drought out west, and this extreme drought is requiring extreme measures. Now, I've noticed myself, because I eat a lot of produce, I have allergies, so I eat nothing but raw fruits and vegetables. I do cook some, but I cook them differently. I steam them and things like that, and I eat a lot of raw nuts and seeds, whole grain rice, wild rice, stuff like that. Okay, all organic type stuff, and I do a lot of juicing, so I'm like a health nut. So I notice that the fruits and vegetables look very poor. They're just in bad shape. They're half bad when you get them. It's never been this bad. And I live in the extreme eastern half of the Midwest of the United States of America. So I'm noticing how it's affecting us over here. So this extreme drought is going to require and is requiring extreme measures. So I'm going to show you that article using my Screen-O-Matic program so that you can see it for yourself. Be aware, these are signs of the times in which we're living. Okay, we are living in the end times. We're seeing these things. We've never had in history, okay, all these events that are happening that Jesus himself warned would happen. We've never had them all happening like they are right now. So I'm going to show that to you. So please do pay attention and start thinking about what you can do to prepare you and your family. Okay, so we are on Natural News website. This article is by Mike Adams. I'm sure most of you, if you follow Natural News, you know who he is. It says, California wake-up call, extreme drought will lead to migration exit and real estate collapse. It says a shocking 58% of the state of California is now in a state of exceptional drought, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. And wait till I show you the picture from the U.S. Drought Monitor of just how bad this is. The drought's incredible 3-year duration has nearly depleted both the state's topsoil moisture and subsoil moisture reserves, according to Brad Rippey of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, who wrote the Drought Monitor report. He reported this in the Washington Post. All the usual measures are being taken to try to soften the impact of the drought. The governor has declared a state of emergency. Strict water conservation efforts are already in force. Neighborhood water cops hand out stiff fines for excessive water usage, and people are scrambling to cut water consumption in every way possible. These efforts, however, will not be enough. The simple, inescapable fact is that much of California is simply not sustainably inhabitable with the population densities it currently hosts. Los Angeles, in particular, is a city built in a desert and almost entirely dependent on imported water supplies for its survival. Now he goes on to discuss his feelings about the fact that they have so many golf courses and how in a place that is mostly desert, they shouldn't have anything like this to begin with. He talks about how the California farmers are basically just pumping away all of the water. Now let's look down here at the U.S. Drought Monitor. Now, everywhere you see in dark red, like that brownish red color, that is exceptional drought areas. Okay, you have it scattered even down through here. Okay, then in bright red is extreme drought, and you can see bright red scattered in various areas, particularly obviously over here where we're talking about. Then you have orange, which is severe drought, excuse me, and there is a lot of orange, okay? Then you have a cream color or peach, which is moderate drought, and you can see those areas. And then, of course, yellow is abnormally dry, and that is pretty much so in other places throughout the nation as well. Now, where I'm at, it has not been exceptionally dry. We have had a lot of rain, and I like to get out and walk, and most of you who follow me know I love to ride my bike, and it's just been a lot of rain. So maybe where I'm at, we should take some of that rain and try to move it over to California. That would be just fine with me. And as I said, I can tell where I'm at that we are suffering the effects of this too in the condition of our produce. So let's see what he says down here. Okay, it says mass migration away from California is inevitable. The inevitability of the mass migration away from California still hasn't quite sunk in among most people who live there. Almost no one has thought about how they might afford to move out of California when the value of their own property in California will be approaching zero. Lynn Wilson is the academic chair at Kaplan University, and she serves on the climate change delegation in the United Nations. Civilizations in the past have had to migrate out of areas of drought, she said in a CNBC article. We may have to migrate people out of California. Think about it. When the day comes that the water taps run dry across large urban areas, there will be a rush for people to sell their homes and move out of the state. But in this rush, the value of California homes will plummet to nearly nothing. Why is that? Well, it's because the value of a home, says Mike Adams, that has no running water and likelihood of ever receiving running water is very close to zero. There will be no buyers. There will only be sellers. And after the sellers realize that they cannot sell, they will simply pack up the minivan and abandon their California properties and send their homes into foreclosure. Areas of California will become ghost towns, much like many areas of Detroit today. Then he goes on further to say that's why the smart people are the ones trying to get out now. The long-term reality of the water crisis hasn't sunk in with most people, so there are still buyers of real estate in the drought areas. But smart people are doing things like selling their homes in California and moving to Colorado or Oregon, where water is far more plentiful. Here in Texas, we are getting a flood of Californians moving in, many of whom have seen the writing on the wall and are headed east in search of water. Southern Oregon needs to start thinking about the coming mass evacuation of California too. The problem with the evacuation is that California is largely surrounded by desert states. If you head east into Nevada, you're in another desert where water is also scarce. Las Vegas, for example, will also become a ghost town in a matter of a few short years. That's another inevitable reality that hasn't been sufficiently acknowledged by its own citizens. Arizona is also largely a desert state, with both Phoenix and Tucson facing their own water challenges in the years ahead. To find water in the western USA, you either have to head north to Oregon and Washington or go far to the east, deep into Utah, Colorado, or all the way to the eastern half of Texas. So this is a serious problem. So the question becomes, with this serious problem, how is it going to affect the United States of America as a whole? We have to look at the possibility that some people may end up going into FEMA camps. Other states are going to be flooded out with people that they weren't prepared for, which is going to also affect the economy and affect those areas. So these are all things that are only going to get worse. As I previously mentioned, It's not going to get better. These are all a sign of the times. I would encourage everybody to by no means be afraid, okay? That's just plain stupid, okay? Nothing was the best way to put it. Good decisions cannot be made when you're afraid, okay? Make the decisions now with a clear mind. Trust in God. Prepare yourself spiritually and physically. All right, the Bible tells us, you know, I get called fearmonger or whatever. Okay, I'm a watchman. I'm trying to wake you up. I'm trying to show you the prophecy is unfolding before your eyes, and I'm trying to get you prepared spiritually and physically so that when these things really hit hard, you will not be sitting there like the people outside of the ark when the floods came, scrambling around in fear, not knowing what to do. All right? If you're prepared, you have nothing to be afraid of. As I started to say, the Bible refers to these days as terrible days. All right? So I'm not the one that wrote that. What I'm doing is showing you what's going on in the world to prepare you so that you can repent, so that you can get ready in every way possible, so that you will not be caught off guard. Okay, so please take these things seriously, see that they're happening, see that over the past few years especially, these things have only gotten worse. Thank you very much. Please share this video with your friends and family, and God bless you.